very warm welcome to our audience. My name is Devika, and I am the host of this platform, Artificial Intelligence Journalism Dialogue, that is hashtag AIJD, where we bring in personalities and important people who are associated with artificial intelligence technology and are doing a great job in the field. Today, we have with us Arijit Bhattacharyya, who is a serial entrepreneur, mentor, angel investor, international business developer. He has so many laurels to his name. He's the founder of Virtual Infocom, founder of World Leaders Summit, TEDx speaker, game developer, business matchmaking expert, government advisor. He's an AI evangelist, blockchain specialist, and globetrotter. He has helped 6,000 startups to start their venture, helped several many as mentor in 90 plus countries. With over 23 years of experience in shaping businesses, he is ranked among 14 among world's top 50 blockchain thought leaders in the world. He has so many accolades. I'm sure if we just give his intro, this 30-minute interview will fall short of it. So I'll just share his bio website later on the platform. And for now, please welcome Arijit Bhattacharya. How are you, sir?
All good. Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction and inviting me in your talk show.
Yes, it's an honor actually to have you here. And I know you have been keeping busy a lot, and thank you so much for your time. So, sir, not taking much time again, I'll just start with my first question. Artificial intelligence. What does it mean to you, and how do you see its scope in Indian lines, basically?
Okay. So AI, as you know, I'm not sure whether this will sound a little bit of different to your audience or not. AI, the real implementation of AI actually started in game development. You can't ignore that. If you look at the earlier days of Atari, who are one of the pioneer of game development industry, in initial days, we call them as those golden days of Silicon Valley, wherein these guys, they started their very simple game with the help of artificial intelligence, who is playing the game with the user, which means when you are interacting, you do some kind of work, the computer is giving you a response back depending on their own kind of input that you're giving. Now, when I'm saying that computer is giving a response back, that means there is definitely an algorithm, definitely a coding that is happening in the background. Those line of approach has been updated in last 3 decades a lot. And after running 24 years of my business ventures, multiple different ventures, we have been using artificial intelligence in many different areas. And when you ask me, what does it mean by AI? AI in today's world in 2022 don't have a very specific kind of definition of saying that it is a response from computer. Rather, it became learning of machines, meaning understanding their own algorithm, giving them input. Depending on their inputs, nowadays they have a thought process. And that thought process definitely is created by human being. But machines are becoming intelligent day in and day out so that they can think on their own nowadays. Now, when we say thinking, just imagine human being. Human being have got imagination, which is not there in computer system or any intelligence system at the moment. But now we are trying to give a little bit of imagination to these machines. And when we do that, when you try to go towards that groundbreaking stuff, we need to understand what kind of machine language we're using, what kind of flexibility we are giving to the system. Now, this became beyond gaming. This became towards the industry implementation factors. Now, when we talk about AI and implementation factors in industry, in today's world, a drone can fly on the top of maybe a field, and it can detect, understand, and calculate what kind of crops that you need to use in next couple of months. It can detect and understand the weather, give you the exact kind of feedback of the upcoming weather that you're going to get. Calculating such kind of complex system is definitely coming from all those kind of algorithm that we are implementing. I'm not making this very, very complicated for normal user, because if I go, it will become a little bit of techie. but somehow the subject is a little bit of technology oriented. So when we talk about algorithms, we have a lot many different algorithms in AI, which includes, of course, Sparrow algorithm, lot many others. For a normal user who is coming to this world and trying to explore the world of opportunities, they can probably start with a language called Python. It's one of the best language wherein you can learn and understand AI very simple way, interact and communicate with hardware. And depending on those kind of communication, you can definitely get the best possible answer. Now, why people are using AI? Because AI nowadays is giving 99% accuracy, because it doesn't have any kind of emotion. So their accuracy level becomes 99% accurate. When you put human emotion into any decision making process, we sometimes take a lot many decisions which is probably not good or bad, but for a system it is 0, 1 and fuzzy logic. So when you work with that,
the binary language,
handling such kind of decision becomes much more easier.
So the
Does that
terms,
answer?
yeah, definitely. So the terms deep learning, machine learning, NPL, these are the terms which people are associating with. That's how the algorithms work through machine learning, is through deep learning, and the study, especially for the students who are upcoming generation, which is there in colleges and all. So for them, what advice would you have, especially media students, if I talk about?
See, in today's world, media became completely different. I mean, this is not the world of those traditional media. I'm so sorry about this statement. When we look at internet and social media, there are a lot of things that's happening. And if people are not at par with what is happening in the technology world, as a media student, it's going to be very difficult. Number one, they need to understand what is deep fake. Deep fake is one of the crucial factor in today's world. When you're dealing with media, I'm not sure how much time you're giving, any media students are giving to the internet world. Probably they are using only the initial layer. But if you are going through deep web and dark web, there lies the main beauty of understanding journalism in terms of real, finding the real truth, I would say. Okay. So when we talk about getting one news, sometimes people just take the snap, put it in WhatsApp, say that this is what happening in Ukraine, but we never ever cross check. We never ever verify from where this video is coming or the picture is coming. We never ever cross check. There is a verification process. It's so simple to understand whether this is a fake news or whether this is a original news. In fact, to understand deepfake, it needs a very special kind of training and understanding. It needs complete boost of your IQ and EQ level to understand what is deepfake and what is normal and what is not normal. Else, it's going to be real challenging to pursue anything in the media feed, because I understand at least 90% of world population, they rely and trust on the media news. And when you have something which is not proper, it's going to be a disaster. And in today's world, the one news, probably the duration of one news before it comes to the market is max 23 seconds. So it's not limited to your TV or your news channel. It is now on a very fast route. And as a human mind, if you really want to understand what is real news, in today's world, smart people, they don't rely on one media. They rely on multiple different medias. So as a student, when you're creating any kind of news, you need to read a lot. I will take you back to the basics. You need to read a lot, understand a lot, and then try to understand what is happening in real life and then create probably a small news. Another small input for you, Devika. Nowadays, people don't have many time to read a lot. Okay. If we are writing a blog, if it is not a very interesting one, people may not read it. In today's world, with 500 words, a blog, and expressing everything with all those inputs is a little bit of challenge for a media student, but we need to do that. It's not that people don't have time. People have many time. Trust me on this. But they don't want to spend their time to read that much amount of information, because there are so many different information that is there in internet, and people rely on videos more than text, which is a little bit of alarming, because in video you can retweak and tweak more than your writing. Writing can be cross-verified very easily, but when you create a deep fake oriented video, it is not that easy to cross-verify. So
Totally.
I think that's one input that media students should look at. If you are a media student, I'll highly appreciate if you can learn a little bit of technology. Otherwise, you cannot mix and match and then create a proper news.
Yes, and I think literacy, AI literacy in media colleges, especially in India, the corporate people have that idea, have that sense that what works in the corporate culture. But the students, the academicians, the experts in the field, they are not, I personally feel that they are not well versed with the technologies and the things that are going in the market. They are still relying on those old ways of education probably. So, any suggestions there how probably the academicians and experts in colleges can update the media literacy, probably?
I can give you the entire syllabus if you want, but I will give you a small bit of input if that is helpful for others. Number one, let's not start with AI. If it's a media student, they cannot understand AI if they are not from the technology background. The only thing that they can start with is basic languages like C sharp, not C or C++. It's not going to help them. They can start with C sharp based on AI learning. The next step can be learning of Python, depending on the deepfake. And the third step that they can do is to learn and understand the morphing, remorphing, and how to create such kind of fake news and make it popular. So the fourth point would be how to deal with social media and search engines, bypass it, and then learn and understand how to optimize it. So if you learn and understand how to optimize social media and internet, it will be very easy for a media student to understand the opposite kind of mind. For an example, if I'm a penetration tester as a technologist, I need to understand how a mindset of a hacker should work. Otherwise, I cannot actually understand how to protect the systems of our clients from those kind of smart minds. So in today's world, smartness became different. In earlier world, smartness was a little bit of different, where people used to say that, wow, you know what, this guy is really smart because he's doing some good job. In today's world, if you are making money out of doing probably a little bit of keyboard work and mouse work, people call them smart. So probably as a student, you need to understand how to work with that as well. Another basic point, the fifth one in the syllabus, probably you need to literate people how to protect your own server system, not the website. Website securing is not the basic thing. How to protect your server system, your news media system, and how not to get it, I shouldn't say this, but how not to get it hacked by some third party. People are implementing a lot of rules, a lot of regulation in their company, but sometimes we miss the basic thing, how this media news is being published. And when we try to do that, because of less knowledge, sometimes it's leaked. And when it leaked, it's a loss of the entire company, and it's a big loss. So if you ask me, those things needs to be there in the syllabus. Those are basics.
Also, if I upgrade a little from students to journalists in the field, so earlier journalists were simply those print media, digital journalists. But is this the time that a journalist should also develop some technology? Yes, there are data scientists, there are data researchers in the field. That's a new job segmentation developing in the journalism area. But do journalists also need to upgrade their skills, not just in the editorial segment, but they also need to learn some technology part to probably understand things better or utilize technology better?
Devika, you know what? I'm sorry for this statement. Maybe many of your audience will be a little bit of pissed off about this statement of mine. But data science is basically a term. It's not a rocket science, right? So data science meaning I am managing my data in a very, very easy and cozy way with a specific methods. And we have been dealing it like, I don't know, I mean, probably more than 2 decades as of now. We understand our audience. We understand whenever we launch any kind of product in the market, we understand from where our audience is coming. And we have a very targeted, specific country-wise product launching structure. Now, coming back to your question, whether a normal journalist should understand and learn this. Yes, definitely yes. Definitely yes. For that, you really don't need to be a data scientist. For that, you need to learn and understand the way this curvature and the graph is happening in the normal technology world. Now, what I call as curve and structure. When we look at any kind of say, okay, I'll give you a live example. Say I'm traveling and I'm going to Dubai, okay, and people are watching that. There are a couple of posts that's happening from my social media. Maybe we are doing an investor roundtable. Maybe we are meeting a lot many people. We are having dinner. We are meeting a lot many business people. The perception comes that there is a business trip happening, and if I am going to say to some expo or some another event, perception comes that okay, fine, this fellow probably is there because there is an event that's happening. So as a person, as a normal person, the perception always comes that okay, there is a business trip happening. But if you look at the personal life, maybe the business trip is completely different what it shows in the social media. Now, how will you define it? When I post, I always post it with specific information layers. A person can extract those information depending on the words that I am using. Now, understanding those words on a keyword specific segment needs a special kind of training. Example, if I am posting like I am meeting a family office with some CEO of that family office and we are having a handshake, and this is the kind of way people should raise funds, and this is the kind of way people shouldn't raise funds, and this is the kind of timing that needs to be done, then the information I want to give is, if you are willing to raise fund, come to us. These are the kind of structure that we have, and these are the kind of family offices that we have as a partner. So if you are willing to raise fund, these are the ways that you should go for. But as a normal person, Devika, you understand it because you are from the media industry. But from a normal person's perspective, wow, that's an amazing picture with another CEO. So our CEO is handshaking with another CEO. You know,
it's just a networking event, probably. That's the idea someone gets.
Yeah. So in today's world, when we work with social media, when we put such keywords, the reason I'm writing those words because it goes to the specific algorithm and it becomes a little bit of popular. And it drags that from LinkedIn, goes towards Twitter, redirect that to Instagram, and then goes back to Facebook. That's how the entire structure has been defined as a circle. So as a media person, coming back to your question, this needs to be understood what I am placing and where I am placing and how I am placing. And that means you need to learn and understand that every day they are changing their style of working with algorithms. Yes. Depending on that, you need to tweak and retweak your words and hashtags.
So that understanding needs to be there. Yeah, I think Google changes its SEO knowledge every 6 months or 9 months. So every 9 months, something new comes up.
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months. And mostly people don't have any idea about that. Even journalists don't have any idea about that. So people need to include those skills into their daily work, day-to-day life, I guess. So when I say
can I add something? Can I add something?
Sure, please.
So if you are working with Google, I think this is right time to understand that there is another very powerful search engine called Bing. So you need to
Bing.
optimize that as well. News, which is being read by millions of users. We are only concentrating on Google, but you need to understand in certain countries, Google is not available.
Hmm.
So you need to penetrate and optimize other search engine and other tools as well, if you really want to become a global media.
Exactly. In fact, I have worked with Microsoft's AI-based project, comment moderation project, and even on Bing News. I have worked on that. So that's actually got me curious 3 years back, and I decided to do all this stuff and come into artificial intelligence journalism dialogue and all. So when I say artificial intelligence journalism, there's a great man in Dubai itself. His name is Mohammed Abdul Zaher, and he is I think PMO to the nation, to the king over there, and he has defined this jargon. He has also come up with artificial intelligence journalism model. So I'm trying to reach him also in ways, but what do you think of this? Do you think it's a jargon, artificial intelligence journalism, or it is still because this term is not used by many so far? So
Well, it needs to be there. And very soon you will see that probably in next, who can say, maybe in next 3 years, you will
mhm.
see that the news is being developed and probably being shared by robots. Very soon this is going to come. Adoption of such kind of technology may be a challenge, but is going to come. Technology cannot stop. So when you look at that, we may think that job of a journalist is not there. No, it's opposite. The reason robots are being used because they can be used for 24 into 7.
Hmm.
A human being cannot. But there is a human brain, probably a 3 human brain, which is working with that particular robot. And definitely, when you talk about artificial intelligence based journalism, I would use that term. It is much needed in today's era. And without that, it's not going to be very, very easy to detect, understand, and release media news and make things work for the world.
I agree to
I'm
that.
not going very deep, but it's a fact.
No,
It's,
I
it's, it's
agree
a
to that.
fact.
It took us like almost 1 year to help the deep learning algorithms of Microsoft understand the difference between different spellings of FUCK. It took us 1 year to actually get the algorithms work on that. Every time a new word popped in, there were symbols, there were so many things. So yes, it's going to be the new age. And where do you think the more impact would come? Will it be the editorial side of the news or the user generated content? Because there's a lot, influencers are coming up. There's so much content creation online. Instagram is there, and there's so much. So where do you think another 3 years will see the most of the activity in terms of AI?
Not on the editorial part. Editorial part will be completely redefined and retweaked.
Hmm.
I personally feel that it will be on the user end. Okay, let me tell you something. It might look very, very funny. You know how many people watch reels of others instead of watching news?
Yes, millions. You get
It
millions.
doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense if you're watching reels of somebody else who is doing some kind of funny act. I'm so sorry about the
And that
statement.
is just one song going around million times.
So that particular song, Kacha Badam, poor chap, he created this song, he became a celebrity, but his song has been used by millions of users. It's been watched by billions of people.
Hmm.
Okay. They are spending time to watch this, watch those dances, watch those moves. For what? Are they getting paid for it? No, because people need a certain level of entertainment and people need to connect their own kind of breed. Let me define this. If I am from village and I'm watching a reel becoming popular from another village girl or boy, I will watch that again and again with the
Hmm.
same feeling that if he can do it, I can also do it. Next level of journalism is not about sending stories of only celebrities or what is happening in the world or the world politics that's happening. Next level of journalism is localization. If we don't understand how to tweak, retweak, work with localization, I think we are missing a lot.
Right, right. Also coming to this content creation and so personal branding and unique content creation, I realize, and especially during COVID times, and many entrepreneurs lost their businesses and they started using digital skills. There were people using, but I'm again talking about the localization level. People at the very local levels, they lost their businesses, and some of them came back really good with the digital skills. So personal branding and unique content creation became the key over there. That's what I realized in some of my personal cases. So what do you think about that? How social media helped entrepreneurs probably save the day, save their face, basically?
A lot, to be very honest. So I'm so happy that nowadays, at least from my motherland, my own country, Bharatvarsh, people started realizing that entrepreneurs are disruptors, and entrepreneurs can bring job, can bring lot many money, can create lot many disruptions. Whether they are profitable or not profitable, that's a different question and different discussion. But people are following entrepreneurs. They are
Hmm.
not only following movie stars or TV stars. And that's the interesting part that happened. And on the opposite side, couple of TV stars and movie stars I know personally, they started their own business to enter into the corporate world or to become an entrepreneur. And from the entrepreneur's perspective, they want to create their own branding, their own face, their own fan followers, so that eventually they can be a little bit of published somewhere. A little bit of publication is not bad for anyone. So that small branding of personal branding needs to be there, and it is much needed in today's era, in next couple of decades probably, so that people know you, trust you, and understand you. But
Hmm.
remember, the way you project yourself in social media, it has to be 99.99% accurate when you meet them in person. I have seen such cases where you see a very nice guy in social media. When you meet them in real life, they are opposite. It it gives you a complete different kind of hit and perspective. So let's be a little bit of careful what we talk, what we say, and how we react in those digital world, and when we meet them in person. I think that's much needed.
Very true. So, when we say personal branding, yeah, before that, even before that, when we talk about unique content creation, any tips there besides being looking real on and off screen?
Just be true to yourself. What you are, just portray that in social media. You don't
I
need
think that
to,
USP factor has really
yeah.
gone upside with this digital upscaling.
See, if I'm losing hair and I'm tweaking my hair in Photoshop and place that in social media, and when people meet me in person, they say, "Oh my God!" Then he is doing Photoshop. So let's keep that part. What we are, let's portray that. I am what I am. So people who they are, when they put that in social media, they gain more trust
Hmm.
than retweeting contents. And that's a
Right.
fact. That's a fact. And they do more business, they create more vibration, they create more probably impact in the world rather than when you retweet things. I understand everybody wants to look very good. It's not about the look, it's about the way you are presenting yourself in front of the public.
Hmm.
Another small input for everyone, it's a very silly thing to lock your profile in Facebook and then send a friend request from a locked profile to a person. If you're locking your profile in social media, that means you don't want your content to be displayed to others, and you don't need any kind of other connection. You don't need anyone, so you're happy. Okay,
Hmm.
that's the reason you are locking your profile. That's the general perspective. And
Hmm.
when you send a request from a locked profile, even though if you're a journalist, people will not accept it. The reason is you are telling the world that, hey, I'm good. I don't need anyone else. Why I'm raising this point? Because I have seen when you are in this say personal branding world, you created your personal branding, you created a Facebook page, and then you locked your own profile, which is fine. It's completely your decision. But then you start sending friend requests from the locked profile. It gives you a different dimension from people perspective. You will lose lot many fan base. So let's be a little bit of honest about ourselves. Let's be a little bit of intelligent and say who we are, and always try to be unique, what you say, and stick to original content rather than taking things from somewhere and then replacing it.
Putting it up. So yes, earlier I think your product was your brand. Today you are the brand, and how you place it up in the market, that matters. So that was an amazing conversation with you, sir, and we got to understand so many points. Especially this last step is so helpful for social content creators, basically. And I would thank you once again for coming with us and talking so much about artificial intelligence journalism, and branding and unique content creation. Any message, concluding message to our audience? Any tips from Dubai, which probably any suggestion? You were there for the expo, or you were there for like more networking stuff?
No, Devika, I was not there for Expo. Expo was a byproduct for me. Actually, I was there in Expo with a lot of expectation that Expo will be more for business networking. Expo was really big. I was there for only a couple of hours. It is really good to hop into those countries' pavilions and then probably watch how beautiful they are. I was actually there for our own investor roundtable.
Okay.
We brought in around 10 startups from Europe, wanted to help them to grow their business in Middle East. Plus, we tried to raise capital for them, which would be much more easier. We thought that during COVID, they can travel easily in Dubai. And I had a couple of my business meetings, of course, a couple of collaboration. That's the reason I was there. It was really good. I was there for 21 working days. It was really awesome, amazing. Made so many of my own business contacts and opened my network to those European startups. And one of my co-partner into this, she's from Romania. So I opened my entire network. They explored it. We tried to do a couple of cool things. And that was the entire trip is all about. And it was fun. It was hectic, it was time taking, but then at the same time it was good.
I'm sure you would have really grabbed that tiger, that opportunity, the tiger you are. And I've heard so many of your speaking events, and where you mentioned that be the tiger and grab that opportunity. So I'm sure you would have also done the same thing. And once again, thank you so much, sir, for being with us. It was a great session. And for our audience, we'll soon come back to you with some other great personality. For now, be safe and take care.
Thank you. Thank you, David.